So we just made it to the place. We were here almost a year and a half ago when we started to build the teardrop. This time they have a bit bigger campers, but there's a nice variety of campers. Some small ones, some bigger ones, but there's nothing too large here. This is kind of a smaller camper area. For when I got here, I hit a button on my camera and I couldn't get the setting off. So hopefully we're good right now. And yeah, we're gonna go check things out. Now this is a nice camper right here. This has off-road tires, full kitchen, fridge, a shower, dining area over there, bed, a nice awesome sunroof. This is cool. This is really cool. It probably costs a lot though. You're paying $32,000 for this, so you can get a pretty good tiny home for that, but we're gonna go over that. So $32,000. So we just made it into the area. Most of the campers are outside. They have a showroom in here. So we're just checking out some campers, seeing what we like and we don't like. We're just kind of exploring, and then the point of this video, as you guys probably saw by the title, is whether a tiny house or RV, the pros and cons of each, and so I want to go over that in this video. So here at this place, there's all different kinds of campers. There's really small ones, medium-sized ones, and I would say this kind is, you know, good size, but it's not too big. But that's just from my perspective. Many of you guys are going to say this is a very, very tiny camper, which it is. So right here is kind of a, I would say, a larger kind of camper. It has 2 bunks in the back, has a nice kitchen, nice bathroom. This is a slide out right here, and then it has a dinette that goes into the main bed. But this is a really good sized camper for, you know, a smaller family. For instance, I'm in a family of 5, but me and my brother Cole have our teardrop camper, so we sleep in there. But also it's nice to have the bigger size, so as a family you can hang out. Plus we have a dog, so that's good to mention. But I think this is good size. They're really trying to modernize these campers now. You might tell by the wood it's not so dark anymore. Campers used to be really dark with their wood, but now I can see that they're really trying to make this wood a lot lighter and a lot more modern looking. So the first thing I want to talk about, especially with RVs, is that it's an RV, so it's not going to be built the best. It's going to be built to last a couple years and then move on. That's why with tiny homes, they're built to last. They're built really well, and you built them personally yourself, so you probably are going to put a little more effort into it than they are. This is nice, and this would be an awesome road trip, you know, RV. But for full-time living, I would not live in it more than 5 to 10 years, and that's really pushing it. So I think these are great, and I want to in the next clip I want to show you guys why these are great and why I think that these are a really good alternative for a lot of people. So that point I made about how I think it's awesome for young families, because I personally know people from online, from Facebook, and I've actually met them in person at festivals, that they're a young couple. They have, you know, maybe 1 or 2 kids, and they go traveling for a couple months in an RV. So they buy an RV and they go traveling, and they live in it full time for that amount of time. So I think that's an amazing, you know, that really works out good for them, because they're able to not invest a ton of money into a tiny home, and they're able to just buy, you know, a pretty decently priced RV. This one we're in right now is a vintage one, but it's brand new. They made it look vintage. It's like $19,000. So that's a lot cheaper than a tiny home, and also it's built for the road. So I think it's an awesome. I think these are awesome for young families like that to go traveling and, you know, tour around and see all these different kind of sites without spending so much money on a tiny home. And plus, then you're not hauling a tiny home around on the road. You're hauling an RV, which is, you know, a little, it can be a little easier at certain points. Also nowadays, with RVs changing, they have lots of different makes, models, and designs. This one right here, you guys can tell, it's a vintage one. You can see the seats right down here, and it's just vintage all around. So there's all these different designs that you can choose from. But with the tiny home, you're basically able to custom design it to the way you want it, and you don't have to pick from a design that they have. So it's a little more, you know, personal, I would say. But these still are really cool. While I'm shooting this video for you guys, my mom and dad are actually looking at campers, because the one that they remodeled, you might be wondering why we're looking at campers if we just remodeled a camper. they want to remodel that, kind of flip it, and then sell it for a good amount of money. So they're going to make money on the deal, and then they want to get a bigger camper, not too big, but a bigger one, so as a family we can hang out in it with the dog Otis and play card games. In the one we have right now, the older one, we can't hang out in the family in it. It's just too small. Plus, there's not much headroom. In this one, we got enough headroom. I'm almost 6 foot. My dad's 6'3", so we have to make sure that they have enough headroom. The older one we have right now is not very tall. He has to duck, and I can barely stand in it. So we want to get something that's a little bigger and suits our family just a little bit better. This place is super cool. Some of the best-selling campers aren't right here right now because they could only keep them so long before they sell. So he's trying to describe some of the campers for us, but they seem really cool. And I gotta say, when I was here a year and a half ago, they didn't have this much campers. They had a lot of small ones, and now they're kind of branching out into the medium-sized ones because I feel like there's a big market for these kinds. Also, if you're ever interested into flipping an old camper like the 1972 Ki, you have to keep in mind that there's these big brands like this that are building brand new ones to look like that. So you have to keep in mind the market, and if you want to sell your camper. Also, if you plan on traveling a lot and maybe going on rougher roads and always being on the road, something like this would be perfect because it's shorter, smaller, lighter, has a taller, nice bigger wheels, off-road capability, and all that kind of things. With tiny home, it's possible, but you don't really want to do that kind of stuff. It's meant to be a home, not a camper. So you really want to really weigh your options on what you think is better and what you think is the best for you. Personally, if I were going to go traveling full-time and always on the road and always doing things, I would not get a tiny home because I don't want to be pulling a tiny home 24/7. I want to bring it on small trips and not move it that often. They're not meant to be moved every single day. So if I was going to be moving every single day, traveling every day, I would get a camper or something similar to a camper. Or build a teardrop like what we did. But I think that a tiny home is really meant to be a home and not a camper. A camper is meant to be a camper, not a home, for certain reasons. They're not built that well. They're meant to be a camper, but for a short time, to travel in with your family or go on a couple month road trip, leave for the summer, go on a road trip. I think they're perfect. Just not for like 10 years or 5 years because they don't last that long. I'm just sitting here in this hot camper talking to you guys. My mom and dad are working with a guy maybe on a deal. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they buy a camper today, maybe they don't. I have no clue. I think the original plan was just to come here and look, but they've been looking for a while, so I don't know if I would be surprised. So I haven't even asked you guys yet, but what do you like more about a tiny house than the camper?
Your tiny house?
Any tiny house, yeah.
General?
I think, obviously the construction quality of a tiny house, when you build it yourself, you're getting, what's there. But tiny houses can weigh an awful lot.
Yep.
And to have the mobility, to do the kind of camping that our family likes to do, I think we need to look at something that's lighter weight. We have kind of some unique challenges where it's parked and stored,
yep,
and what we like to do as a family. So tiny house for the day-to-day or weekend camping that we do wouldn't necessarily be the right investment, I don't think.
Also with the tiny house, since you built it, the inner workings of it. With this, you just buy it, you don't really know. I mean, they're pretty straightforward, but with a tiny house, you kind of know how they work. So like I said, the build quality. With a tiny house, you're building it. Now, they're going to be heavier because they're built out of wood, steel, whatever you use. But the reason why campers are so lightweight is because they're built like this. I mean, this is just, a showroom model, but still, they're not built well at all. This isn't even wood. This is kind of like foam. So they're not built that well, and they cut some corners to make them so lightweight, and they want to produce them fast to make money. So you're going to notice that they cut corners, for instance, like this table. Really wobbly because the base of it's plastic, so it broke. Like, there's just little things like that that aren't very homey about it, but it depends what camper you get. Some campers are really nice, but you also pay for that. I'm doing this clip twice before I turn the microphone on. Okay. One thing I wanted to mention is with campers, you want to make sure they have enough storage for your hobbies, the sports you do, because if they're going to be taking them everywhere, you want to be able to make sure that you're able to do what you like doing, if that's snowboarding, skating, whatever you want. For me, if you build a tiny house, you know what your hobbies and passions are, so you're able to build around those and make sure they fit into your lifestyle. with a camper, you kind of have to make sure that they fit, you know what I mean? So for me, the right choice is a tiny home. For everyone, it's different, whether they're like wants or, you know, what they want to do. But for right now, the right choice for me is a tiny house. So we're heading to Camping World next. I don't know how much I'll film in there. If I see some cool campers, I'll show you, and if I come up with any more things to talk about, I'll show you as well. I've just been talking the entire video, so I want to show you guys some cool campers, and just kind of show you guys around. So we're back in the car, as you guys might notice, and if I'm gonna show you guys some photos right now, or you guys probably know by the thumbnail and title of this video, we bought the camper. It's a 2019 Coleman. What's the whole name?
It is
Coleman Light something. It is a Coleman Light LX camper. It's like 22 feet long. It's not too big, but it's not too small either. We'll have a whole tour video out of it. It's gonna be really cool. I like it a lot. So we're not bringing it home today. We have to bring it home Friday. That's like the first day. My mom and dad are able to go pick it up, and then they have to do some inspections and make sure that it's all ready to go for us. So we're gonna get it Friday, and now we're heading to my uncle's house, and then we're gonna head home. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. We bought a camper, and I also went over the pros and cons of, you know, a tiny house and RV, and which is better. I think a lot of it matters on what you want to do and your circumstances. So I think it's kind of up to the person, but I personally prefer a tiny home for full-time living. But then again, like I said, it depends on what your needs and wants are. So hope you guys enjoyed what I thought about that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.